Alright guys, I'm a little behind in getting my winter fragrances video, so I'm doing them back to back. Last Saturday I did the men's designer list. Today I'm doing the niche and luxury list, mostly unisex fragrances. Find out about some of my favorite fragrances for winter 2024-2025. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian talking to you about winter fragrances from the niche and luxury houses. There's a great collection of fragrances here that I think are going to be perfect to wear this winter. If you haven't found your favorite fragrances yet, you're going to want to find out what these are. I've spoken about a lot of these, but some of them are like my usual go-tos, but there's a lot of new fragrances here that if you haven't been tuning in lately, you're going to want to find out what these fragrances are. So the first three fragrances I'm going to talk to you about are in my latest kit, and it's a collection of parfum or extrait of parfums. It's kit number 13. It's got three different fragrances, three amazing fragrances that are perfect to wear this winter time. The first of which is from the house of DOLCE Paris. It's Tonka HYSTERIA. A really delicious tonka bean focused fragrance that has spicy touches and, vanillic touches, sweet, and also slightly boozy and cherried undertones here as well. But a really delicious, very long lasting extrait de parfum from DOLCE Paris, and definitely one of the best that they've offered or released from this house. But really great. It's it's tonka beans, it's a gourmand, but you have those spices and smoky touches coming in, contrasting with the sweetness. But of course you have vanilla and, as I was mentioning, the cherried and boozy touches that are hidden under there that kind of come through a little bit. Tonka HYSTERIA is so delicious, guys. Check it out if you don't know it. Then we're talking about Cherry Punk Extrait from the house of Room 1015. Another great fragrance that's featured in the latest Scent Club kit. And this is a leathery take on cherries. Not like Lost Cherry. It will remind you of it, but this doesn't have a lot of gourmand qualities. In the end, it's mostly a leather with black leather. There's cherries here. There's saffron. And these are, connecting the leathery touches and spicy touches with the cherries here and toning down its kind of fruitiness. But still, you'll be, noticing the cherries pretty prominently here. But there's also spicy touches from Sichuan pepper. There's jasmine, patchouli, tonka, mimosa, and violets. It's a really, really great creation. The original Cherry Punk was great, but the extrait is all really, really great and leathery. And as I said, the leather has been amplified. And the third and final fragrance in the kit is such a great release, so underrated, so unique, one of the best leather fragrances out there. This is from BOHOBOCO. It's jasmine white leather. Have you guys tried this one? Very unique and totally original leather fragrance here. The leather is truly original. It's a bit rubbery and also pleathery. So there's a bit of a I guess I should say like a fetishy smell here with the kind of leather that's known to be utilized for those kind of situations. It's a unique leather here, but it's overdosed with a lot of white flowers, including the jasmine. So you'll really smell something very, very unique. But in addition to those notes, you've got cloves, lavender, patchouli, Ambergris, tonka, vanilla. Really an original fragrance. I absolutely love it. It's become my favorite fragrance from BOHOBOCO, and I'm so happy and grateful that they are, featured here in the latest kit. If you haven't picked up your kit yet, please do. I have it linked in the info box, and let me know if you did and what your thoughts are on these three fragrances. Alright, next up, going to the house of LABORATORIO OLFATTIVO. It's VANAGLORIA, this one right here. This is a smoky, leathery take on vanilla with Olibanum, black pepper, saffron, cedar, elemi, and pink pepper. Really like the contrast here, the suede accord, the spices with the pink pepper, black pepper, and then the olibanum, the smoky incensey touches, nicely contrasted with the vanilla. Very unique smell, very wonderful smell. I absolutely really, really love it. It's such a great contrast. Vanilla and that pink pepper, black pepper, and smokiness of the olibanum. Wonderful offering. Recently also somebody said that Tonka HYSTERIA is basically the same as VANAGLORIA or Baby Cat. What do you guys think? It was just an interesting comment. You guys get the connection? I guess they might share some similar notes, but to me, Tonka HYSTERIA is so much of a gourmand, an overdose with the Tonka, and even though I would consider this gourmand light, the VANAGLORIA, I don't find the connection. But let me know your thoughts. But VANAGLORIA is so good, guys. Next, going to the house of Born to Stand Out. It's Filthy Musk, one of my favorite fragrances of 2024 and one of the most delicious musky fragrances. Absolutely love this stuff. It has fruitiness, it has sweetness with pineapple, honey, there's patchouli, there's rum, there's nutmeg, jasmine, and then of course we've got the Animalic musk, we've got civet, and then in the dry down we have vanilla, caramel, ambroxan, and ambergris. Really, really wonderful offering. The year before I was really into Sadonaso. Now I'm really into Filthy Musk. I like that whole Animalic musk contrasted with some sweetness and light gourmand notes. They work wonderfully together. Might be a bit off-putting to some folks, but Filthy Musk, definitely super delicious, sexy, gourmand musk. Filthy Musk is great from the house of Born to Stand Out. Let me know your thoughts. Then going to the house of BALMAIN. This is Celle d'Ambre. So we do have luxury designer houses here, and then of course the niche houses, but Celle d'Ambre was my favorite offering from this house. And some people do complain that it's a bit animalic. I don't get that myself, which is great. I love the way this smells. It wears really great. I wish it was a little more louder, like more of a room filler, but it's intense enough for a great winter wear. It's amber, olibanum, ambergris, tea, and orris, so it's powdery. It's I guess marine-esque with the ambergris note, but it doesn't get, to me it doesn't get too animalic. But I've smelled ambergris fragrances that are just way overwhelming with the overdose of animalic qualities, but here it's nicely done and it's super sexy as well. Celle d'Ambre, one of the best fragrances from the house of BALMAIN in their new luxury collection. Let me know if you've sampled that one. But moving on to the house of SOSPIRO, it's Dolce Sonata, a great fragrance from 2024. I was going to feature Dolce Melodia here, but this one actually is calling to me lately. I really like the way it smells. I like that whole contrast with the sweetened fruit and flowers against the kind of a leathery smokiness that's in here. Really interesting contrast. And also, once again, just like Dolce Melodia, Dolce Sonata is a really long-lasting fragrance. It's loud, it has great projection, and that's the kind of fragrances I really love, especially in the winter time. But it's cotton candy, raspberry, apricots, osmanthus, there's incense, lime, lily of the valley, rose, bergamot, jasmine, musk, sweet orange. Really great. They don't really mention this leathery thing that happens here. I don't know why, but I get it. And it's a bit off-putting to some folks, I think. But I really love the contrast here. For me, this one also reminds me of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia from the house of Raja Parfums and Fenty by Fenty. I think it's a combo of those two fragrances in a Sospiro style. Anyway, Dolce Sonata, let me know your thoughts on this fragrance. So next I've got 54, Juice Box's 54, really great patchouli fragrance, but boozy and ambery, woody with tobacco, but lots of spices and chocolate as well. Once again, really great projection for an eau de parfum fragrance. It's 22% concentration here. Really long lasting, great sillage, great projection, and a total compliment getter. It's one of the best fragrances of 2024, not because I worked on it. It really does smell great off of me, and it projects like a monster, which is what I really wanted with this fragrance. And people, compliment on this one, and they have really positive things to say about it. Once you receive a compliment, you know that people end up liking a fragrance, which is awesome. 54 from the house of Juice Box. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. Next, going to the house of Arquiste, it's Almond Suede. I did a video on the trio of fragrances that launched with this recently. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. But for me, my favorite of the trio is Almond Suede. I absolutely really love the suede fragrance with the almondy touches and also the orange blossomy touches in here as well. It doesn't get animalic, it's suede. It's definitely on the gourmand side with the bitter almonds, the pine tar, candied sugar, saffron, honeycomb, neroli, orange flower, cistus, vanilla, and spices and citruses. It's a really great fragrance by Khalees Becker. I absolutely love what she did here. And I keep mentioning, I do get a bit of a hint of Love Don't Be Shy. I think it's the kind of orange blossom or orange flower and neroli she's using because she created the Love Don't Be Shy. But this is a totally unique fragrance. It doesn't smell like that, but it's got hints of it in there. But so delicious, guys. If you haven't tried Almond Suede, please do. I absolutely love it. It's one of the best from 2024. Really enjoy that one. Then we're going to the house of Essential Parfums. It's Bois Imperial Extrait. Really super intense take on the original, but this time going to more of a amber, woody, spicy direction. Lots of black pepper here, Timut pepper, there's rose, there's leather, there's atlas cedar, fire, there's fir balsam, and labdanum. So the rose is not necessarily uber prominent in this. It comes through, but it's so faint you'll probably not even notice it if you are not looking for it. But you know, it depends on the sensitivity of your nose. I wasn't getting it as much. Some people might be extremely sensitive to rose and they'll probably pick it up right away. It happens all the time with fragrances. But for me, it's a great intense take on the original. Super long lasting, really intense, and a wonderful take on the original Bois Imperial from the house of Essential Parfums. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. But moving on to the house of Maître Parfumeur Gantier, it's Ombre Presso Ultime. I pulled out the Ultime this time because it is a stronger take on the original. It's really intense, but I love it. It's an amber, and ambers are perfect in the cold of winter. They smell great. It's resinous, it's spicy, it's powdery, it's aromatic, and also balsamic. There's balsams in here, and it's a great, one of the best amber fragrances. If you haven't smelled Maître Parfumeur Gantier's Ombre Presso, please do. I think you need to have it in your collection if you love ambers. It's a great, great amber. But if you want something a bit more potent, you go for the Ultime and the nice, beautiful orange amber colored bottle because it'll match the smell that you're wearing. Ombre Presso Ultime, super luxurious, really long lasting, great amber from the house of Maître Parfumeur Gantier. That is at number 11. Before I move on, I just want to let you know this is an unranked list. That was just the 11th fragrance, but the 12th fragrance here is from the house of Nuit Nomade. It's Estrella de la Mañana, for a smoky, super masculine take on vanilla with a cocoa chocolatey touch. But this is birch, vanilla, cocoa, benzoin. And you know what you get with this one? Slight leathery undertones as well, because that birch is going to provide that. But you definitely pick up the vanilla, you pick up the cocoa, but it's nicely blended with that birch and also the benzoin, which creates the ambery effect. But super long lasting, super intense, and it might be an acquired taste. It's not like your traditional gourmand. It's very masculine, and as I said, super smoky and also leathery from the birch note. Estrella de la Mañana, really great fragrance from the house of Nuit Nomade. Then going to the house of Paris Monte Carlo, it's Vanille de Tahiti. I recently featured this in a video last week of some of my great discoveries of 2024 that weren't launched in 2024. This is a 2023 launch, and I can't believe I waited so long to discover it because it's amazing. And even though I feel like this is super intense with the vanilla, but also overdosed with white flowers, especially magnolia and champaca. The two together give you this kind of a pulpy, succulent quality, almost fruity, spicy against the vanilla. Man, it's so good. So delicious. One of the best vanilla fragrances I've gotten my nose on. I think it's time to update my vanilla video. What do you guys think? But if you haven't tried this extrait version of Vanille de Tahiti, please do. It's super, super amazing. But just be warned, a lot of white flowers in the form of the champaca and magnolia. But just also to let you know, there's a lot of creaminess under there with the sandalwood note in here. It's a really, really great fragrance. Lastly, I don't know anything about the eau de parfum of this, so don't get the eau de parfum because I don't know. I haven't smelled it. I've gone right through the extract and it's super amazing. So that's Vanille de Tahiti, Extrait de Parfum from the house of Paris Monte Carlo. This next fragrance is from the house of Sarah Baker Perfumes. This is Tartan Cask, an updated version of her tartan fragrance, taking it into a smoky fougere direction. So in the end, it's lightly gourmand, but lots of smoke. It's very woody, and there's definitely the overdose of lavender here, but the fragrance comes off of very smoky. So it's kind of a flanker to the original. But this has notes of smoke, bread, moss, lavender, peaty whiskey, hops, tobacco, heather, leather, cedar, Buddha wood, and labdanum. If you were unfamiliar with the original, it did used to be a bit more gourmand because it has that bread note and also the booziness. But here, they've amplified the lavender and turned on this kind of smoky effect. So it's a kind of a fougere style. So it's Tartan Cask from the house of Sarah Baker. And up next, going to the house of Guerlain, it's Tobacco Honey. Do you guys know this one? I highly recommend this one. It was one of my favorite offerings or launches from 2023. Really a great offering from this house. Super intense as well. Really loud with great sillage and projection. It smells really, really great as well. It's a smoky contrast to the honey with the tobacco, but a really, really great creation. It's honey, oud, vanilla, tobacco, tonka, sandalwood, sesame, anise, and cloves. All the notes perfectly blended. Smells delicious. On skin, in the air, on your clothes. Amazing, amazing fragrance. Like, I haven't felt so excited about a Guerlain fragrance since the launch of this, because it's super, super amazing. If you like the idea of honey against tobacco, this is definitely one of the best. So it's Guerlain's Tobacco Honey. Let me know if you're familiar with that. Then going to the house of Nectar Olfactive, this is Supreme Nectar, my favorite of the 4 honey themed fragrances that this brand launched. Really great take on honey right here. It's like a honey bomb, like honey come to life. It's amber, musk, honey, sandalwood, almonds, vanilla, patchouli, creamy notes, almond blossom. The combination of the almonds and almond blossom against the honey touches is so great, so delicious, almost realistic, like food. Like, imagine chopping up almonds and drizzling with honey and then maybe popping it in your mouth as some kind of a treat. That's what it reminds me of. But it's super creamy and soft and luxurious in the dry down with lots of vanilla and sandalwood as well. Really a delicious fragrance. Supreme Nectar from the house of Nectar Olfactive. Let me know if you're familiar with that. Then go into the house of Dior. It's Vanilla Diorama, one of my favorite designer vanilla fragrances. In fact, it's my favorite in this collection, not the Esprit de Parfum new smaller bottles, but the main collection. It's my favorite Dior Privé. But it's lemons, oranges, pink pepper, cardamom, bourbon vanilla, slight cacao touches. It's a great combination of vanilla with gourmand notes. Silky, smooth, slightly boozy, a bit citrusy, and then of course the dusting of chocolate on top or cacao. Really, really great fragrance. If you haven't tried Vanilla Diorama, do. It's super sweet though, just be warned. Then going to the house of Frederic Malle, it's the Moon from Julian Rasconet's creation, and definitely one of the best fragrances he's created. I absolutely love this. And even though it's an oud, it doesn't come off so dense and animalic and overly intense and overwhelming. But raspberry, lychee, saffron, olibanum, Turkish rose, oud, and leather. The combination is so intoxicating, so luxurious, so beautiful. Definitely a masterpiece, I would consider this. Deserves to be in the Frederic Malle Desert Gems collection, because once you put your nose on it, you'll be like, oh my god, that's heavenly. So this is the Moon from the house of Frederic Malle. And then going to the house of Amouage, it's Jubilation 40, the Extrait de Parfum version of Jubilation. I'm a late discoverer of the original Jubilation. When I heard about this, I was so excited. And even though it reminds me of the original, there is definitely a camphoric touch about this, but it's super intense, smoky, woody, spicy, and also resinous ambery. I think they've amplified the ambery touches, and you get that kind of camphor, like green, almost like eucalyptus-y kind of a experience here. But I think they did a great job with this extract. It is very, very long lasting and definitely not thin like the original, which I believe has gotten reformulated. Jubilation 40, fantastic offering from the house of Amouage. Perfect winter fragrance. Next up, a brand spanking new fragrance I haven't spoken about on the channel. It's from the house of J-Scent. It's Sacred Animal. Are you guys familiar with this? This is an unusual amber fragrance with cocoa chocolatey touches with a slight animalic funk under there. That's super delicious and intoxicating. I mean, I haven't been excited about this fragrance because I just recently got my nose on it, and I think it's great for winter. I think the chocolate cocoa touches against the amber and the spices and the leather, the vanilla, the patchouli, oak moss, sandalwood is so heavenly. There is a musk note in here and also jasmine, and maybe the jasmine is providing a slight indolic funk, but there is a slight animalic thing about this. But it's a bit gourmand, but lots of amber and slightly old school and modern at the same time. Absolutely love this. If you haven't tried it, please do. Sacred Animal from J-Scent. Really great fragrance to wear this winter or any time of the year. And then last but not least, I'm leaving the video with this fragrance from the house of Les Eaux Primordiales. This is Amber Supermassive. I've really grown to enjoy this one, and it's actually a boozy, kind of fruity, almost like a holiday spice kind of a fragrance with a lot of cinnamon, apples, vanilla, rum, honey, amber, peach, sesame. There's tobacco here. There's also saffron, pineapple, and rose. If you haven't tried this, please do. It's a amber version of the original Amber Super Fluide from the house, which I didn't really care for, but here they've given it the luxury treatment, and I think it's perfect to wear in the winter time. So Amber Supermassive from the house of Les Eaux Primordiales wraps up the list here for winter from the niche and luxury world of fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances if you happen to be wearing them this time of the year, or what are you going to be wearing this winter season as well. Do add a comment below. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video, please share it, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. And last but not least, I do have a bonus option. I keep recommending this fragrance, and some of you have figured out a way to buy it. This is the fragrance that I discovered in Dubai Mall that I had to buy. Smelled it, fell in love with it, had to go back and buy it. And I'm absolutely obsessed with the way it smells. This is Thok Al Hawamar Al Diwan. So I get creamy vanilla, rose, patchouli, oud, and more from this. And the combination is so amazing. It is very, very long lasting and also great projection, but it's kind of like your traditional rose oud combo, giving it the kind of creamy, milky sandalwood treatment in the dry down. So altogether acts not necessarily harsh and in your face, just smooth, but really, really delicious combo of notes. I don't know nothing about this brand. As I said, I was handed a strip walking in Dubai Mall on my way somewhere, and I smelled the strip on my way to the other place. I had to go back and buy a bottle. It's so good. Anyway, this is Al Diwan from the House of Thok Al Hawamar, and that is my bonus option for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. See you guys later. Bye-bye.